Hello, this is Keith Shindler coming to you with another edition of Facebook Live, How to Claim Your Justice When You Are Injured as a Result of Someone's Negligence. Happens in many type of scenarios. We've talked about it throughout the weeks. My purpose in having these few minutes, several minute, 10-minute sessions is to try and give you information. I sound like that guy on TV who says, my job is to. Um, it really is, though. I want to provide information to you and to people that you may know, friends and family, and so that if some tragedy befalls anyone you know and they're injured as a result of someone else's negligence, I'm teaching you how to claim your justice, and you'll call Claim Your Justice, and one of our lawyers will professionally help you recover the maximum amount of money for the particular injury and the scenario that it occurred under. Today we're going to talk about bicycles. Summer's almost here. Maybe, as I look out the window, it's got to be 50 degrees, rain all day. But soon enough, there's going to be lots of bicycles on the road. You're going to be out on a bicycle. Your kids will be out on a bicycle. Your adult grown parents will be out on bicycles. And unfortunately, there are lots of injuries that happen when someone's out on their bike. The type of injuries that occur can vary greatly. The worst case scenario, you have a bike rider who's run off the road, hits some type of cement pole or cement median, or falls into a ditch. Sometimes those accidents result in someone dying. That's rare, but it's possible. Frequently, you have someone who suffers an injury like a broken arm, a broken wrist, a broken leg, had injuries where someone breaks the orbit around their eye. It's called the eye orbit, orbital fracture. You could have someone break their skull, and you could have a combination of those injuries. So, regretfully, when you have a 12 or 15 or 20 pound bike versus a 2,000 pound car or a 30,000 pound tractor trailer, the injuries can be massive. So, you got to be careful out there, but bike riders have rights. Simple fact pattern when these type of accidents occur is you could be making a right turn at an upcoming street, and a car behind you thinks that they could make the right turn. They could make their right turn before you'll hit the intersection, and so they may speed around you on your bike, make that right turn, and either turn right into you, or in the middle of their turn, you ram right into their passenger side of their car. They shouldn't be doing that, of course, but everyone's in a rush these days as they want to get places fast, and very little regard to bike riders out there. Another scenario you could have is where someone's trying to make a left turn at an intersection. The bike rider is coming in the opposite direction, and whether there's a red light, a green light, or no intersection control device at all, traffic control device at all, the car turns left in front of the bike rider. The bike rider, again, passenger side's getting a lot of activity, runs into the passenger side of the car. Or the bike rider comes through the intersection and the driver makes his or her left turn, smashes right into the bike rider. Why? Because the drivers can't really evaluate how quickly the bike is approaching. It's much easier to evaluate and guesstimate the speed of a car than it is to guesstimate the speed of a bicycle. And the speeds vary up and down very greatly with a bike as opposed to a vehicle. So that's two of the types of kinds of injuries. What else do we have? This is the worst. You have a distracted driver, right? What does that mean? You have a distracted driver who is texting, turning the radio in their car. Turning the radio in their car. Doing something other than paying attention to the road. That distracted driver, as a result, back in the old days, it was like someone takes a cigarette lighter and lights their cigarette, and they lose control of the car. In this situation, you've got a distracted driver. He's going to swerve, run into the bike, run you off the road. You got an injury. The law's on your side. Oh, let me talk about one other. I was looking at my notes. One other type of injury you could have is you have the driver who's just annoyed with you being a bike rider on the road, right? They're like, roads are meant for cars. You on a bike, stay on the sidewalk. Well, personally, I'm a road bike rider. I'm out on the road a lot. And I see some of these drivers, they just think that you should not be there. And so you could have an annoyed driver, and you've read some of the news articles about this possibly, and you'll have a pickup truck. Recently, in the past year or so, a pickup truck ran into a group of bike riders, killing at least a number of them. Well, first of all, criminal, yes, for sure. But from a damage perspective, because that would be more of an intentional act, in addition to the damages we'll talk about you're entitled to for your injuries, in that particular fact pattern, we'd ask for what's called punitive damages. Those damages are meant to punish the person who causes the accident. The law's on your side. Of course, most of us have seen road signs that says share the road, or don't, for bike riders, not to ride three side by side or two side by side as opposed to single file. I prefer the single file method. I think it's safer, but I do think that many bike riders out there will go side by side, and the law says there's a state law in Illinois and at least 2 Chicago ordinances on it. The state law is found in the Illinois compiled statutes, and it provides that you as a car driver, when driver of a car, when you're passing a bike, you need to give at least 3 feet on the side or more before you pass the bike. Rarely is there 3 feet to give. When I'm driving and I see a biker, I go as far as over, if I have to go in the other lane, I do that. It's not always possible. So that there's a law out there that protects you when you have a driver who hits a biker and didn't give that 3 feet to pass. They violated not only traffic rules, but they are negligent as well. You have 2 Chicago ordinances that discuss bikes, and one involves making a left turn and one involves making a right turn. Let's talk about the damages you're entitled to. You get your medical bills paid for sure. You get future medical bills paid as well. Pain and suffering, yes. There could be permanent disfigurement. Someone fractures their hip as a result of a car driver. My eyes look, I'm looking up or down. Sorry about that. You have someone who fractures their hip, they're going to have a limp. They're going to have permanent disfigurement. That limp is permanent disfigurement. Lost wages. And then in the sense of a road bike, you know, sometimes bikes are a couple $100s. Well, when you have a road bike, some of these road bikes out there are $9,000, $10,000, $12,000. Of course, you're entitled to get your property damage compensated for that. What can a bike rider do to make their life safer out there? And I'm not preaching to anybody, but I just telling you what I do personally. I wear a helmet, of course. I try and wear a brighter color shirt. Sometimes I ride early in the morning. Sometimes I'm riding closer to sunset. I want to make sure that people can see me. I have a front blinking light and a rear blinking light. I observe the rules of the road and try not to ride in the middle of the street. I see some bikers out there that may be great bikers, but kind of jerky, where they're riding in the middle of the street and a car can result in annoying somebody like we were talking about a little earlier. Personal experience, yes. I was coming down a street in a suburb, and I was going through the intersection, and a woman, a young lady, maybe 30s, driving a minivan with, I'm sure, a young kid in the car, paid no attention to me, ran right into my front tire, knocked me off my bike. Thankfully, not a serious injury. My bike was damaged. I did have some blood and cuts on my hands, and you know what? She just kept going. She couldn't care about the bike. So I'm very sensitive about this. I have a lot of emotion representing anyone injured while riding their bicycle, or groups of people injured at the same time. Compensation, we talked about it. If you're injured in any type of work, accident, car accident, trip and fall, medical malpractice, wrongful death, or for this topic of this today, a bike injury, call Claim Your Justice. Call 188-88-KEITH. That's 188-885-3484. We're here to help you claim your justice. Have a great rest of your day.